Hello and welcome to Unify's webinar on Report Builder 5.2. This is your host, Matt Brunquell. Welcome to the webinar. We're going to go ahead and get started. And our technical presenter today is Anna Paula Bonanni, and I'll introduce her in just a second. But before I do that, just a few housekeeping items. First of all, notice the WebEx toolbar at the bottom of your screen. We want to make this interactive, so you feel free to ask questions. And the way you do that is through the WebEx toolbar. There's a button there at the bottom with a question mark. That's the Q&A button. Use that when you want to post a question, and then we actually will have a Q&A session at the end here, and we'll go through the questions. There's also a chat button, but we ask that you just use the Q&A button. It just makes it easier for Anna Paula and I to look at one panel to go through the questions. Also, I thought I'd introduce the company for those of you that are new to Unify before I introduce Anna Paula. Unify is a publicly traded software company, and we've been in business now actually almost 26 years. We were the first to deliver a relational database in the Unix environment, and since then we've delivered development software products that run across different databases and platforms, not just our own, and really geared towards building and modernizing business applications and gearing that towards the business application developers. And those are the folks trying to deliver business results to their end users without having to do a lot of low-level coding. So that's kind of in a nutshell who Unify is hosting this. Now I want to introduce to you our technical presenter, Anna Paula Bonanni. It's a real privilege to have her presenting this today. She is our technical support manager for Europe, and she's been with us for over 10 years. She actually started she was the first technical resource in our Brazil office, and so her role included everything technical from pre-sales through post-sales. And she started working with Team Developer back, gosh, like 1.1.2, way back when. So she's very familiar with the Team Developer and the Report Builder. More importantly, she's been very involved with, as Unify has rolled out the 5.x Team Developer and Report Builder product, which is kind of the core foundation for Team Developer moving forward. She's been very involved in the support as well as the QA of the product moving forward. So very, very familiar with this topic. She also recently presented this very topic at our developers conferences both in Europe and in North America. You'll notice a little DevCon 2008. So you're in store for a really good presentation with content she's really familiar with. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Anna Paula.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Our presentation today will be kind of quick, but hopefully it will demonstrate all the new features that we are putting into Report Builder 5.2. We are going to talk about enhancing your reports with rich text, which is the main feature of Report Builder 5.2. We'll talk about rich text both from the Report Builder and the Team Developer side of it. We are also going to learn how to change the text direction into your report. This is a feature that was asked a long time ago by many of our customers, and we're having it implemented in Report Builder 5.2. We also want to learn how to add a watermark, a picture as a watermark in your report, and be able to print that watermark within your Report Builder report, and a new menu option that we have included into our new ribbon bar. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to introduce rich text for those who are not very familiar with this format. Rich text, or RTF format, is a document file format used for cross-platform text and also graphics interchange. That means that in a single RTF document, in a single rich text document, it can be used with different devices, different environments, and different operating systems. So this really opens your application and your report environment to other tools out there. Some advantages of the rich text format. It's a format widely recognized. Most of the big companies out there recognize rich text as a format of choice for interchanging different documents from your application and your report. It's also supported by most word processors out there, so Microsoft Word and others also support this rich text format, so it makes your application and your report environments really integrated. A rich text document can store not only text, but also images, as we are going to see in our demos, tables, hyperlinks, Unicode text. So as you know, Team Developer and Report Builder are both Unicode applications now. So this is really good to have the ability to include this type of documents into your applications and reports. Rich text in Report Builder. So rich text is now a new object in the toolbar, as you can see in the screenshot here in our Report Builder. And for those not familiar with Report Builder 5.1 and 5.2, we have a new ribbon bar to Report Builder. It has a new look and feel to it, and this ribbon bar now includes a rich text object in it. We also have new data types for input items. So into your report, you can have a rich text object, and we've included as a data type rich text as a new item into the input item property. So let's go ahead and take a look into Report Builder and see how it works. I'm going to open Report Builder here, and hopefully you are seeing it in your screen. So I've just opened Report Builder 5.2, and I have a report which includes a rich text object. And as I was mentioning before, if you go to your report item in the toolbar, you see a new rich text object that you just can click and drop it into a new report. As soon as you do that, you have all the properties available for this rich text format. If you right-click on it, you're going to see the properties as we have for other text objects as well. You have the line wrapping, you have the borders, colors that you can change for your rich text object, and you can also not only use it as an input item. So for those familiar with Team Developer, you could send information from Team Developer to your report using input items or input variables. But you can also select a static rich text document to paste into your report. So you can go ahead, and I've just opened the dialog box. You can choose any type of RTF document from a static document and include it into your Report Builder report. So let me cancel this here. And as I was saying before, we also have a new item in the input item for your report objects. If you right-click on it for looking at the properties, as I mentioned, your RTF object, your rich text object, now has a new data type. So this is what you have to select when creating input items for receiving data, which is an RTF content. Okay, so let's get back to our presentation. We'll see a lot of demos during this presentation, so we'll be able to actually see how it works from Report Builder and Team Developer. As I mentioned before, rich text reports can now receive RTF, rich text formatted data from applications. So you can create a new report template, include your rich text object into it, and send data from Team Developer, for instance, to this rich text object in Report Builder. So let's see how it works. Again, a quick demo showing this behavior. So I'm going to open Team Developer now, and this application, for you guys familiar with sending data from Team Developer to Report Builder, you will see that it is exactly the same behavior as you had before. So, for instance, here I have, I will call my function. Let me open the print button just to show you what I have into the message action. So I have a print push button which simply calls the SalRTF view function, which you are very familiar with. The thing is that I'll be opening a report template that has a rich text object included in it. So as soon as I call the SalRTF view function, I will go through the normal processing for printing data in your report. So all the SAM report messages that you use it to will be used in this case. I'm retrieving data from a SQLBase 11.5 database here, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later. So I have all my SAM report processing. For instance, when I start my report, I connect to the database from where I'm reading the rich text data from. I prepare and execute a select statement to retrieve the data into my bind variables from a table that has this RTF content. On fetch next, I will go ahead and fetch the next record from my database, and then I'll disconnect from the report. So let's go ahead, execute this application, and see how it works. So as you can see, I have RTF object included in my form, and again, we'll talk about it later when we're talking about TD in a few minutes. What I'm going to do here is click the print button just to select data from my database, as we've seen the processing from the outline, and open my report builder report. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just opened a report template and I selected the RTF content from a database table. This is what I have in my database, and this is exactly how it shows in Report Builder. So let's go ahead, close this, and continue with our presentation. There's one other way to create rich text reports from your Report Builder, and it is by defining a query. So now when you create a query from Report Builder, you can select a table that has RTF data in it. So for tables that store rich text data, I can create a report, not only a report template starting from scratch, but also a report template which selects data from my database. It works exactly the same way as before. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So as I mentioned before, I'm here using SQLBase, and I'm using a version SQLBase 11.5, which is the new version of SQLBase. We'll have a webinar on it this week. If you're interested, you should join us on Wednesday for that. So I'm using the new SQLBase 11.5 database, which includes a table with an RTF data in it. So from Report Builder, I can go ahead, define a new query, connect to my SQLBase database, select my table that has the rich text content in it, and you notice that the data type that I'm using is long binary. This is a new data type in SQLBase 11.5. Now, if you're using previous versions of SQLBase, you can obviously continue to use the long varchar data type. And if you're using other databases, Oracle, Sybase, SQL Server, you just use the data type from your database that is able to store binary data. So that's how you store it in your database. In this case, SQLBase 11.5, I'm using the long binary data type. So I select this table. I have all the conditions as I had before, group by, my select statements, etc. So I will just click OK, and it will create my report builder, including my rich text format data from the database. At this point, I can go ahead, I can go in design time and edit my properties. I can expand the size of my rich text object and go in preview mode and my data is correctly retrieved automatically. So total integration from Report Builder to RTF data being retrieved from your database without, as if you were using any type of data, just normally, without without the need to do many programming or anything. Okay, I don't want to save it. Let's go ahead, move on. So we talked about rich text coming from Report Builder, how to integrate rich text in Report Builder. So now let's learn a little bit how to do rich text integration from Team Developer. So the first area that we're going to cover is the control palette object. So there is a new push button into the controls palette, which is called Rich, for rich text control. Once again, you create a new form in your Team Developer application, you push this button and you can just drop it into a new form, and this is the object that you will see created. It's a rich text object which includes a toolbar, it includes a ruler bar, and there are many properties for you to enable, disable those toolbars depending on what you want to do from your application side. So you have the controls palette, but you also have all the properties for a rich text object into the attribute inspector as well. So you have a new whole set of properties like make the toolbar for the rich text object visible or not, make the ruler bar visible or not. You can also set horizontal and vertical scroll bars for your rich text object, set borders, and many more. As you can see, attribute inspector is totally now compatible with the new rich text object. You can set it editable or not, you can set the margins, you can set the string type, and this is something that I wanted to mention here. For now, in the current implementation of Report Builder 5.2, we are using long string as the data type for our rich text object. But before the product is released, we are also going to have the new binary data type as an option here for your report, for your rich text object. So for those who didn't attend DevCon or are not familiar with Team Developer 5.2, we will have a new native binary data type in Team Developer that you'll be able to use for binary data, including here into your RTF object. So for now, you're using long string. In the future, you'll be able to use the new binary data type. Another area in Team Developer where you can integrate rich text is from the coding assistant. So the coding assistant now lists the new set of SAL functions, and they all begin with SalRTF. So those functions are there for you to dynamically change your rich text, to programmatically change properties, features, copy and paste text, save your document, preview, print, and many more. So things that you want to do from your application side dynamically, programmatically, and instead of letting your end user do it from the runtime environment. So the coding assistant has all those SalRTF functions enabled, and you can just double click and use it into your application. Talking a little bit more about this new SalRTF functions, we kind of separate them into three different areas. We have the document area. Those are all the SalRTF document functions from where you can do a preview of your document. You can insert a new document into your object. You can count the number of pages. You can insert pictures. You can save the document, etc. We also have paragraph functions. SalRTF paragraph for getting and setting the alignment of your paragraph, set a new space to your paragraph, and we also have functions which relate to the text in your RTF document. So those are the SalRTF text functions. So you can copy and paste, find text, you can set alignment for your text, change the color, replace, etc. It's about 28 or 30 functions, SalRTF functions, to give you flexibility with your RTF integrations from Report Builder dynamically. So let's take a look into the TD application and see how it works. So I'm opening Team Developer right now, and I wanted to show you quickly how those functions work, what you can do from your application dynamically with the RTF document. So I have a form here. As I mentioned before, if I look at the layout, I have an RTF document, which is my rich text object with the toolbar, with my ruler bar. Into this application, I have, let me go to the outline here, and I have menus, and I separated them into the 3 areas that we talked about before. And most of them, you're going to see that it's just about calling a single SalRTF function to dynamically execute, dynamically integrate with your RTF text. So let's run this application. So you have the ribbon bar that I mentioned before. So a few things that I can do, I can insert text based on a file into my RTF object dynamically. So let's say, for instance, that you don't want your end user to have access to the toolbar to open documents and save, etc. So you can do it from an application. You have the control over it. The end user doesn't have much control over what he can do from the RTF. So that's an option. I left the preview button here just to make sure I mentioned it to you. It's not implemented before, but we will have a feature to preview the RTF document. It will be a built-in feature, so it will be integrated with your application. You won't have to call a function to preview it. It will be an integrated built-in RTF object feature. I can also save a document dynamically. In this case, I saved the document that I've inserted here into my ctemp directory. So let's just take a look. What I wanted to show here is that this is a full RTF format document. So in this case, the document that I just saved it from Team Developer, I'm able to double click on it and it will open my default editor, in this case Microsoft Word, and you can see that the text is exactly the same what you saved from the Team Developer application. So totally integrated with other applications that understand RTF as well. So I can, like I said, in terms of paragraphs, what you can do with your paragraph, you can change the alignment, align left, align right, set a different spacing for your text, etc. Let me insert the text again. And in terms of text, what you can do, you can select all your text. You can copy it to the clipboard. Let me create a new one here from the toolbar and paste, so you can see the paste working. I can find the text in my object, etc. So it's like I said, many new functions, SalRTF functions to integrate and dynamically program your RTF report from Team Developer. Let me close this application, going back to the PowerPoint presentation. So we talked about rich text in Report Builder, in Team Developer. Now, how does it work from SQLBase? And I'm mentioning here the use of SQLBase 11.5. All rich text data, independent of your database, is a binary data. So you need a data type that understands binary from your database. From SQLBase, we have the new long var binary data type in SQLBase 11.5. As I mentioned before, previous versions of SQLBase will be using long varchar and integrating in Team Developer as before. So you are able to insert and fetch rich text data via an application which has data inserted as long var binary, and I just wanted to show a quick sample of how to create the table in SQLBase using the new data type. So it's create table, the table name, and the new long var binary data type. It's a binary data from SQLBase 11.5. At this point, if you go and use SQL Talk, for instance, to look into your data after you stored it with SQLBase or with Team Developer or any other tool, you'll be able to see that the RTF is inserted as a pure RTF data. You'll be able to see all the tags, all the headers, etc. That will be included. You can see it from SQL Talk, for instance, that it's pure RTF data that is getting included into your database. So let's go ahead and take a look from Team Developer how to insert and retrieve this data. So let me run this application here, and as I said before, I'm able to integrate with any database using RTF data. So let me go ahead and insert a picture here. I'm going to insert a picture into my RTF control. As I mentioned before, it can include pictures, text, tables, hyperlinks, etc., as you've seen before. So let me select a bitmap file that I want to include into my object. This is just a sample picture from our island database. I inserted the picture into my object, so I'll click the Insert button to insert into the database. Let me create a new document here, fetch it from the database. It will hopefully show up. Yeah, so it's fetching it from my database, and now if I click the same print button that I had before to open Report Builder, it will show the picture into my RTF contents just easily without any special functionality. So it's the same functions we've seen before to print your object, and like I said, the insert is using a long string data type. So all the processing from Team Developer is the same as before, where you have to long where you have to bind your data with a long string to a binary, and that's it. Report Builder is able to show it normally, even if you have images integrated into your report, as you could see. Okay, let me close this application. Back to our presentation. So that was about rich text. And I mentioned that we were going to see other features for Report Builder as well. The feature that we're going to talk about now was also a request from many customers, which is the ability to rotate your text into your report. So we'll be able to change the report text direction just with a few clicks. It's actually a new property for your data field or for your background text. Into the Font tab, you can just select the rotation. You can rotate it to 90 degrees, 180 or 270 easily just by going into your Properties object. So let's see how it works. I'll open Report Builder with a template that connects to my island database. So I'm opening here a CQT report, and as you can see, the text will show in a different direction. The text here under my status is showing in 90 degrees. So this is a property. If I look into my report design mode and I click my text, I go into the properties, into the font tab, it has 90 degrees set to it. So I can just rotate it easily. Let's change it to 180. And you can see not only in design mode, but also in preview mode that the text has been rotated without any problems. So also a new feature that we've integrated after some customer requests. So very easily, you can just modify your report with just a few clicks to integrate this new functionality. We also have the watermark as a new feature for your report. And this feature actually allows you to select a picture object of any format. It can be a BMP, it can be a JPEG, a GIF file. You can paste it from a file and integrate it into your report, and it will show as a background picture for your QRP or CQT. So let's open the same report that we've seen before where, excuse me, where we've rotated the text. If I go in design mode and I go into my view tab, and don't worry, we are going to change this picture for the final release and add a text to it. As you know, Report Builder 5.2 is under works right now. So if I click it, it will open a dialog where I can select a picture to paste from. And as I mentioned before, various different formats for your picture. So let me select a JPEG called Copyright. Okay. So at this point, if I look into preview mode for my report, it has the background image integrated to it. As you can see, do not copy. I've integrated it as a watermark to my Report Builder report template. So again, very easily with just a few clicks, this new functionality is available to you. And last, to finish our presentation, we have two new options in the new ribbon bar, two new menu options, option close and exit. So this was also a request because we have the new ribbon bar. Customers wanted to be able, from the ribbon bar, to close a specific report or exit Report Builder by closing all open reports at once. So we've introduced the file close, which closes just the report that has the focus, and the file exit to close all reports that are open and exit Report Builder. So this is it for now. I think Matt will go ahead and open for questions.
Great, thanks Ana Paula. So what we'll do is just take a minute. We'll go silent for a minute just to give you a chance to post your questions and read through the ones that have come in. And again, use the WebEx toolbar at the bottom of your screen. There's a button with a question mark. That's the Q&A. Go ahead and enter your questions through there, and we'll come back on in just a minute to start going through them. Okay. We're going to go ahead and start going through the questions now. There's just a few, so if you still have some that come up, please add them in, and we'll take a few moments here to go through it. So the first question is, can we use Report Builder 5.2 in Centura 1.5 or 2.1? And just for those of you that haven't been working with Team Developer for a very long time, Team Developer has also been known as Centura or SQL Windows. So they're asking if Report Builder 5.2 can work with the old releases of Team Developer like 1.5 and 2.1.
No, you can't. Report Builder 5.2 has all the new DLLs with the new functionality, and we do not recommend you to mix DLLs between TD and Report Builder version. So if you have Report Builder 5.2, you will need Team Developer 5.2.
The other question, kind of related to that, is in here, which I actually noticed as well, says, I noticed that when you pulled up the Team Developer environment, you were using Team Developer 5.2. When will that be available? And I'll go ahead and answer that one. And hopefully soon, but what we're seeing is, what we're looking at is probably early spring here coming up. So sometime, I'll hazard a guess as March, but it's not set in stone because, again, we're trying to make sure that it's a high quality release. And although the good news is, as you can see, Anna Paula was brave enough to use it in the demo here, and actually demoed it quite extensively during our DevCon. So
that is true.
I think we have a very stable product in Team Developer and Report Builder 5.2 coming out here in a couple of months.
That's correct. We've used the TD 5.2 extensively in DevCon demos. We've demonstrated the new data grids and the new functionality, so the new binary data type, so it looks pretty good.
Good. Next question, can you use Report Builder as a standalone product? And the short answer to that is yes, you can. We have a lot of people that do that.
Yes, you can.
The next question is, what is the recommended data type to store RTF content into SQL Server?
I don't know if there's a recommended data type. I'm not a SQL Server expert, but you have to think of RTF contents as binary data. So whatever data type in SQL Server that stores data, but I'm pretty sure that the current text data type from SQL Server would be fine too, as long as from Team Developer you bind it to a binary. You bind the long string to your binary data type using the SQL set long by data type function that we have, because that's the way it works with SQLBase as well. So
okay,
that's the answer.
Great. That's all the questions we have at this point. So what I'm going to do is start wrapping this up. But again, if we still have a little bit of time, if you have any questions, go ahead and enter them as we wrap this up, and we'll go from there. So first of all, we want to thank you for participating in the webinar today. We hope you found it useful. Please, we do these every month. We do one on Team Developer, we do one on SQLBase, and we do one on NXJ. And we're always looking for topics that are of interest to you. So if there's specific topics you'd like to see on Team Developer or Report Builder or SQLBase or NXJ, please let us know. We'll incorporate those in here. The other thing I should mention, and Anna Paula touched on this, is we actually have a SQLBase webinar coming up on Thursday. That'll be Thursday morning, or at least Thursday morning California time, same time as this Report Builder one. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, we have one on NXJ, which is our Java-based development tool geared towards business app developers. So it's similar in its approach to development as Team Developer. However, the apps that you're building in it are actually browser-based applications in terms of the client interface. There's no applets or plugins there. So keep that in mind. And then we make all of these monthly webinars that we do, we make the recorded versions available on our website. So if you go to unify.com and you go under news and events, you'll find the archived webinars under there. And then make sure that when you leave the WebEx session, there is a questionnaire. Let us know what you thought. And again, if there's any topics you'd like to see, suggest them in there as well. And with that, I don't see any other questions, so we'll go ahead and close it. And again, thank you for participating.